was part of a local amateur circus group. She often complained about the men taking all of the lifting roles. Her dedication to press-ups and crunches enabled her to develop muscle strength that would eventually allow her to carry and lift other members of the troupe. And that's all she ever wanted, was to lift others. When you read her pained and explicit poetry about early childhood sexual abuse, you understood why she wanted to lift and not be lifted. And occasionally, when you came home, you would see her suspended in the corner of the ceiling or wedged high up in the walls of the narrow corridors. Without any rope or tools, defying gravity, she was a spider woman. And then one day, you took magic mushrooms. Everyone did it in Sheffield, the farmers, the students. You overdosed and underwent a psychotic episode. Your hair was made of long snakes, and the electric ants crawled in through your bloodstream and made screeching sounds. But then the lion came into the room, and he rested his head on your lap, and he spoke the deep, warm language of the lions. And he told you that everything was going to be all right.
My hands are pointing upwards into the sky. And I think that's where I'm always looking out. Even though my head isn't looking down, my arm's looking up. So I guess I'm speaking with my body.
Yeah.
And although I've never danced, I do now, and perhaps my dancing will be part of my legacy.
Yeah.
And this is an early indication that...
Your direction.
Of spatial awareness.
You learned how to play the djembe. You traveled across the country to various drum circles. They were run like festivals or campsites. The teachers were accomplished musicians. You met Guy in one of these drum circles. When you asked to meet him, he refused. He was dying of AIDS and didn't want to get any closer.
Once again, her arms are pointing up.
Yes.
And I believe in her case, this is a sign of distress. But I find it faintly funny, and I'm particularly interested in these three who are reacting in a rather stagey way to the scene they're beholding.
MDMA, ketamine, and microdots was the drugs of the time. One night you found yourself in a more low-key club. And that's when you met Yuraki. This was prior to the biogeneric gender revolt,
Yes.
and at a time when gender was in a more primitive state. The club lights circled around the room, reflecting on Yuraki's small breasts. Through his thin fabric shirt, making his trans identification visible. That was at a time when biological females fought the medical and mental profession for the right to take testosterone at regular intervals. We used to inject testosterone into Yuraki's buttocks, taking pleasure in flicking the syringe to make sure there was no trapped air or bubbles.
I read that in the USA, they're doing supervised sessions of hallucinogens to help cancer patients overcome their fear
So
of
should we
death.
give hallucinogens to Genesis?
I think we're the ones who need them. It just gets too complicated. I don't see why things need to be so complicated all the time. It just gets too much talking, too much making things complicated and too convoluted. I just don't think it's necessary. I think we should just keep things really simple. It's hard enough.
Had enough of
It's hard
this.
enough as it is.
Where are you going?
Hey, hey.
Wait. Wait.